Have you ever felt her pull away just when you thought everything was perfect? You notice it in the smallest details? She laughs, but it doesn't quite reach her eyes. She tells you she's fine, but her mind drifts somewhere else. You're left confused, doubting yourself, wondering if you're doing something wrong. Let me tell you the truth, a truth most men never hear. Some women carry shadows from the past, and the man in their life right now might be fighting a battle he doesn't even know exists. The hardest part, it's not that she doesn't care about you, it's that she hasn't fully let go of someone else. This isn't about insecurity. It's about patterns deeply rooted in her emotions and past attachments. And if you miss the signs, you're stepping into a game you didn't even realize was being played. The first thing you need to understand is this: women don't always act on unresolved feelings consciously. They might insist they're over him, but their subconscious is a different story. It leaks through subtle behaviors, through lingering memories, and through decisions that feel contradictory to the love she says she has for you. Recognizing these signs isn't about spying or paranoia. It's about clarity and protecting your emotional investment. Here's what's important. I'm going to guide you through behaviors that reveal hidden attachments, things she might never admit, even to herself. These aren't surface level arguments or petty disagreements. These are patterns repeated over weeks or months that signal her heart is still tied somewhere else. You'll notice inconsistencies between what she says and what she feels. You'll catch moments when her mind seems elsewhere, glances at her phone, hesitations when talking about her past, or sudden changes in mood without explanation. These small fractures, when pieced together, form a pattern that tells the truth your heart has been begging you to see. Stay with me because what I'm about to reveal in this series could save you years of frustration, heartbreak, and wasted time. If you've ever felt like you're dating a ghost of someone else, like no matter how much you give, a part of her heart is unreachable, this video is your roadmap. And before we go deeper, do this for yourself. Hit that subscribe button and like this video because what comes next is something most men will never know, and missing it could cost you far more than you realize. One of the most dangerous signs that she's not over her ex is how she talks about the past. And I don't mean the occasional story about high school or a funny memory. I mean the way her tone changes when she mentions him just slightly, almost imperceptibly. Her voice might soften, she might smile, or even just pause in a way that seems heavy. That pause, that's a window into a part of her heart that's still living in a chapter you're not a part of. You see, unresolved attachment doesn't disappear with time. It hides, waiting for triggers, for anniversaries, for moments that make her remember him. And even when she's physically with you, emotionally, she can be miles away. It's in the small behaviors, too, the subtle comparisons that slip out in conversation. She might compliment a quality in her ex without meaning to, or say something like, "He always did that better." On the surface, it sounds harmless, even innocent, but pay attention to how it lands inside you. A woman who truly moved on doesn't need to reference someone else. She doesn't measure her current partner against a memory because her energy and focus are fully invested in the present. When she brings him into your space, even indirectly, it's her subconscious speaking, revealing the part of her she hasn't released. Then there's the digital footprint. The texts, the social media interactions, the occasional check-ins that seem casual but are anything but. You might think you're overanalyzing, but trust your instincts. Men often dismiss these signs, labeling them as coincidence or paranoia. But a pattern emerges over time. She might comment on his life without telling you or follow his updates quietly. These actions aren't always conscious, and that's why so many men feel blindsided when emotions resurface later, because they ignored the quiet whispers of her heart. And here's a truth most men will never admit to themselves. It's not about controlling her, it's about understanding her. If you want a deep, lasting connection, you need to see where she stands emotionally. Otherwise, you're investing in a relationship where part of her heart belongs elsewhere. Recognizing this early is a form of self-respect, not jealousy. It's about clarity, awareness, and protecting yourself from the heartbreak that comes when reality hits too late. Keep watching because in the next part, I'll reveal the hidden ways her behaviors, tiny, almost invisible habits, show her lingering emotional attachment. These are things that most men overlook, but will change the way you perceive her forever. Stick around because missing them could cost you everything. Pay attention to how she spends her time because her patterns reveal more than words ever could. When a woman isn't over her ex, her life still orbits around memories, routines, or moments they shared, even unconsciously. She might avoid certain topics, hesitate when you suggest new traditions, or appear distracted during plans that should excite her. These aren't small quirks. They're cracks in the emotional foundation she's trying to build with you. Every hesitation, every subtle withdrawal is a signal she's tethered to someone else emotionally. And the danger is that most men mistake this for moodiness, stress, or lack of interest in them. But deep down, it's neither. It's unresolved attachment, and it silently shapes her actions. Notice how she talks about the future. Does she make concrete plans with you, or are her answers vague, hesitant, filled with maybe and we'll see? A woman fully invested in the present doesn't hesitate. She paints the picture of tomorrow with you in it clearly. But when her heart is still tangled in the past, her future becomes blurry, full of uncertainty, subtle withdrawals, and moments where she seems emotionally unavailable. It's not because she doesn't care about you. It's because a part of her heart is parked in another chapter, one that she hasn't fully closed. Then there are the emotional reactions, how she handles intimacy, affection, and vulnerability. If she flinches at deep conversations, changes topics when feelings are discussed, or seems to hold back during moments of connection, pay close attention. These are unconscious defenses built to protect the part of her heart that hasn't healed. You may interpret it as disinterest, but it's much deeper than that. It's a silent struggle between the life she had with someone else and the life she's trying to build with you. You're not competing with you. You're competing with memories and emotions that she hasn't released. Even her energy can be a giveaway. Notice when she's physically present but emotionally distant. Notice the subtle smiles that fade too quickly or the moments she drifts while you're speaking. Women who aren't over their ex carry invisible weight. It colors their gestures, tones, and expressions, and men who overlook these cues often end up confused, frustrated, and heartbroken. Recognizing these patterns isn't cruel or controlling. It's about self-awareness, understanding human psychology, and protecting your emotional investment before it's too late. Keep watching because in the next section, I'm going to expose the communication traps she sets unknowingly. How her words, jokes, and stories often betray the truth about who she's still carrying in her heart. These are the things most men miss, and noticing them will completely shift your perspective. Listen closely to the way she communicates, because this is where the truth hides. Women who haven't fully moved on don't always say it outright, but their words carry invisible weight. You might notice she reminisces about experiences with her ex not as stories but as benchmarks. He used to do this, or he always said that these are not harmless memories. They are subconscious comparisons, tiny echoes of a past she hasn't fully released. And when she makes these comparisons, even jokingly, they plant seeds of doubt in your mind. Your instincts know something is off, but you can't put your finger on it. That's intentional. It's her subconscious revealing what she can't consciously admit. Then there's the way she reacts to questions about her ex. Notice the hesitation, the quick deflection, or even the subtle defensiveness. Women who are completely over someone answer openly without tension, but if she's still emotionally entangled, even casual mentions trigger micro-reactions. A pause, a glance away, or a nervous laugh. These are subtle signs most men dismiss. Yet they are louder than any argument, louder than any "I'm fine" she gives you. They reveal a silent truth, a heart partially occupied by someone else. You'll also notice the storytelling. The way she frames past events can be telling. She may exaggerate, romanticize, or occasionally paint him in a flattering light. Again, this isn't conscious manipulation. She might genuinely believe she's moved on, but the brain clings to certain emotional high points, the intimacy, the excitement, the validation she once felt, and those memories seep into her present, influencing how she interacts with you. Her jokes can even betray her attachment. A seemingly harmless tease or playful comment about her ex isn't always just humor. It's a psychological test, a way to gauge her own feelings, or even a subtle attempt to keep his memory alive in her emotional system. Most men laugh it off, thinking it's nothing. But a deeper look shows these micro behaviors are consistent patterns. They tell a story about emotional incompleteness. Finally, pay attention to emotional timing. If she's quick to anger, overly sensitive, or emotionally withdrawn at specific moments, especially when discussions drift near intimacy, commitment, or past relationships, it's not random. Her mind is juggling unresolved feelings while trying to show up for you. Understanding these cues doesn't make you controlling. It makes you aware, conscious, and in control of your own emotional health. In the next section, I'll reveal the behavioral patterns in her daily life, the routines, habits, and actions that most men overlook that expose her lingering emotional attachment. Missing these will leave you chasing illusions, and you can't afford that. Even her energy can be a giveaway. Notice when she's physically present but emotionally distant. Notice the subtle smiles that fade too quickly or the moments she drifts while you're speaking. Women who aren't over their ex carry invisible weight. It colors their gestures, tones, and expressions. And men who overlook these cues often end up confused, frustrated, and heartbroken. Recognizing these patterns isn't cruel or controlling. It's about self-awareness, understanding human psychology, and protecting your emotional investment before it's too late. Look at her routines, her habits, and the seemingly small choices she makes every day. This is where the hidden truth is most exposed. Women who haven't fully moved on carry invisible traces of their past into the present, often without realizing it. Maybe she keeps old mementos tucked away, talks to mutual friends about him more than she admits, or revisits places that hold memories of him. These aren't coincidences. They're breadcrumbs of a heart that's not entirely in the here and now. And the most dangerous part? Most men ignore them because they seem insignificant. But these subtle patterns silently affect her emotional availability to you. Notice how she interacts with you during ordinary everyday moments. Does she fully engage when you share something personal? Or is there a slight hesitation in her eyes? A small distraction in her smile? That subtle withdrawal is a clue. She's physically present, but emotionally elsewhere, caught between the man she is with now and the man she left behind. And it's not always intentional. She may genuinely want to be with you, but part of her emotional energy is tied to unresolved memories and feelings that she hasn't processed. Then there's the way she handles emotional triggers, anniversaries, birthdays, or special occasions. If she's hesitant, distracted, or even slightly moody around these moments, it might be because they echo memories of her past relationship. And while it's easy to brush it off as stress or fatigue, these micro reactions often reveal a lingering attachment. Women's emotions are layered, and unresolved feelings have a way of bleeding into everyday life in ways most men never notice. Even small gestures, her phone habits, the way she laughs at certain jokes, or how she talks about past experiences can show signs of her subconscious mind revisiting old chapters. She might unconsciously compare her ex's behaviors with yours, question her own feelings, or silently measure the depth of her current connection. These are not manipulative actions. They are the mind's way of processing unresolved emotions. Here's what most men don't understand. Noticing these patterns doesn't mean you're controlling her life. It means you're awake, aware, and discerning. Recognizing these subtle signs early gives you the clarity to make informed decisions about your emotional investment. If you ignore them, you risk becoming entangled in a relationship where part of her heart belongs elsewhere. And that's a path filled with heartbreak. Now let's talk about the micro behaviors. The subtle, almost invisible cues that reveal her heart isn't fully yours. You've probably noticed moments when she physically seems present but emotionally distant. Maybe she touches you lightly but pulls back when intimacy deepens. Maybe her eyes wander when she's listening, or her tone shifts just slightly when you discuss your future together. These small signs are more than coincidence. They are unconscious behaviors, revealing a mind still tethered to the past. Pay attention to body language. When a woman is emotionally available, her posture, gestures, and expressions sync with yours. She mirrors your movements, leans in during conversation, and maintains deep eye contact. But if she's still emotionally attached to someone else, her body tells a different story. She might physically be close, yet there's tension in her shoulders, hesitation in her gestures, or a subtle retreat when you reach for deeper connection. These are micro rejections, not rejection of you, but of the emotional closeness she isn't ready to give. Notice the timing of her responses, texts, calls, or invitations. If she's quick to respond to casual interactions, but delays or avoids moments that require emotional depth, it's a pattern. Women who aren't fully over their ex often subconsciously allocate energy to unresolved emotions. You may feel frustration or confusion, thinking you're being ignored, but what's really happening is her emotional bandwidth is split. She's managing her attachment to you while still carrying the weight of someone else. Her laughter, her touch, her attentiveness, they all carry hidden messages. A smile that fades too quickly, a laugh that doesn't reach her eyes, a hug that feels just slightly off. They are indicators that she hasn't completely moved on. You can't force these signs, they reveal themselves naturally, and understanding them is critical. Men who ignore these signals often mistake surface level affection for deep connection, only to be blindsided later when her heart finally shifts. Finally, recognize the emotional spikes, the sudden irritations, defensiveness, or withdrawal at certain triggers. These are not random. They are moments when her unresolved past brushes against your present, creating tension she may not even consciously register. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean you're paranoid. It means you're awake, discerning, and taking control of your emotional reality. The last and most undeniable sign that she hasn't moved on is how she prioritizes her emotional energy. This is the truth most men never see because it's invisible until you know exactly what to look for. When a woman is fully over her ex, her emotional energy flows toward her present relationship. She invests in your connection, your intimacy, and your shared future without hesitation. But if she's still carrying someone else in her heart, that energy is fragmented. You'll feel it, subtle, almost imperceptible, but constant. It's the difference between feeling fully seen and partially recognized. Watch how she reacts to moments of closeness or vulnerability. When you share something important, does she engage fully, or does she hesitate, check her phone, or seem distracted? When intimacy arises, does she reciprocate naturally, or does she hold back? These behaviors reveal where her heart truly resides, and it isn't about manipulation or conscious deceit. It's about unresolved feelings lingering like shadows in her mind. She may love parts of you, but she hasn't yet freed her heart to love fully. Another critical cue is how she talks about her ex indirectly through stories, comparisons, or even offhand comments. Subtle hints like, "I've always liked that about him," or "he used to," aren't casual musings. They're emotional anchors. They tether her past to her present, shaping her perceptions and reactions toward you. Most men dismiss them as trivial, but in reality, they are signposts of emotional incompleteness. Recognizing them is essential if you want clarity, control, and emotional honesty in your relationship. You'll also notice where she invests her time and energy outside the relationship. Is she emotionally present with you, or are her thoughts, attention, and actions often elsewhere? Even minor inconsistencies, her mood, attentiveness, or enthusiasm point to the fact that she's not entirely here. This is the invisible boundary between someone who is fully available and someone who is still partially attached to another chapter. Understanding this gives you the power to protect your heart and make informed decisions about your future. Here's the final truth most men overlook. Awareness is your most powerful tool. By seeing these patterns, these subtle signs, you gain insight that protects you from heartbreak and confusion. It's not about blaming her. It's about understanding the psychological reality of her emotions. And if you've stayed with me this far, you now hold knowledge that most men will never have. Knowledge that can save your heart, your confidence, and your ability to choose a love that is fully present. Remember, clarity is freedom. Awareness is power. Protect your heart. Recognize the truth and never settle for partial presence. Finally, recognize the emotional spikes, the sudden irritations, defensiveness, or withdrawal at certain triggers. These are not random. They are moments when her unresolved past brushes against your present, creating tension she may not even consciously register. Recognizing these signs doesn't mean you're paranoid. It means you're awake, discerning, and taking control of your emotional reality.